Welcome back to another episode of Yeah No No Yeah. It was my choice of topic for this episode, and I recommended that we watch two pretty recent analog horror style movies that are both very divisive, so I thought this would be a good double feature. We're talking about We're All Going to the World's Fair and Skinamarink. So it definitely led to some good discussions. Make sure to check out the timestamps in the description if you want to jump to any certain point, avoid spoilers, and keep an eye out for the poll if you want to interact with the poll on Spotify and the links to all of our social medias, as well as the Patreon if you want to help support the podcast. It all goes towards the artwork that we do for each episode, so we'd appreciate it. And yeah, it was just a damn good episode, so we hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get into it.
We're so back, fellas. We're
so back.
We've never been this back in our lives, I think. Like, this is... Like, the podcast's back. Like, finally, after 2 weeks, we're back. We're recording at a decent time for all of us, I think. It's beautiful.
And we're finally not doing a music-centered episode, guys.
Holy shit.
I know, right?
Can you believe it?
I had to switch it up.
The cinephiles are back.
We watch movies. We still do. Pretty much all I've been doing is just kind of getting ready for the trip. It still feels weird, you know, like, oh, I'm going to be in Seattle in a few days. Never been there, so I'm excited.
The sun finally fucking came out yesterday. Jesus. Like, it's just been constant rain and just wind here.
Really?
Yeah, it was, like, actually hot yesterday.
That is, like, the cliches that Seattle's, like, always raining. But I want some cloudy vibes, though. I want some nice cloudy Seattle vibes, but...
We're getting into the, like, hotter... time of year here, unfortunately.
Yeah, by the time this episode even probably comes out, we'll already have done it. So I'll speak for my future self and say it was a fun time. I had a good time in Seattle.
Yeah.
So
and I enjoyed getting married.
Yeah, it was a great time.
You enjoyed getting married. That's adorable. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh man.
Nothing's new, but I'm fine, I think. Yeah. Same old, same old.
You'll be with us in Seattle in spirit. You'll be with us there in spirit.
Yeah.
I'll be seeing Green
I know you don't.
the day we're getting married. Piece of shit.
Hell yeah. Dublin or something? Or
yeah.
where that?
Yeah, Dublin.
Wow.
Where that's the only
That
place
was
that
my
concerts
first ever
go.
concert.
Well, there's some in Limerick now, like fucking Limerick.
What?
Mannequin Pussy are playing in Limerick in August, and I might go to that because it's closer.
People play in
and it's not in
Limerick?
Dublin.
In
Yeah.
Stab City?
Aye, fuck off. Don't appropriate fucking old stereotypes.
Pretty much just been watching movies and shit, and I'm preparing for the wedding and stuff. I ended up getting my like suit and everything, so I'm good to go.
It'll be quite the experience. Can't wait. You only get married once, so get ready. Well, I mean, hopefully you only get married once. Shouldn't say that. Some people get married twice.
Wait to bring the mood down.
I know.
I'm secure enough. I know I'll get
I have
married
a way
once.
with words. We'll shout out the Sacred Six, our patrons. We've got Kath at Catherine Way, Julia moving _ pictures, Sarah at Sarah's Popcorn Chat, Amy at Ardor Film, Luna _ does she have 3 underscores?
She does.
It doesn't
She
even
does.
matter. I mean, underscore Pearl, Kevin at Alright So Reviews. Thank you guys for being patrons.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sacred
guys.
Six.
You're the
Thanks,
best.
guys.
Yeah.
Still sticking around. I think I have one new soundboard thing.
Run over innocent people, but it's like for some reason funny. Oh man, Death Race. People need to check out Death Race.
I'm gonna go first because I don't have much, and both of you have seen stuff that I've also watched that I want to talk about. So I'm gonna steal some of them. Yes, Liam, I'm gonna do that.
No, don't
one.
steal. No, come on. I have nothing. You piece
What
of
do you mean
shit.
you have nothing? You have TV shows and shit. I on my own watched Hundreds of Beavers, 2024. I watched Hundreds of Beavers with Liam last week. It's a film that I've been wanting to see for a good long while. I've heard nothing but great things, like out of festivals and stuff. And it finally came out in VOD like a month or 2 ago, I think. And I've kind of been looking for an excuse to watch it ever since. And I was like, hey Liam, you want to watch Hundreds of Beavers? And he was like, yeah, sure. Even though he didn't know anything about it. And holy fucking shit, it's probably the funniest fucking film I've seen since Black Dynamite. It is hysterical. It is like fucking, you're being bombarded with jokes every fucking 5 seconds. There's like 100 jokes a minute, literally.
Yeah.
Like there's so much going on the screen, and with the audio, the tone is so perfect. Like Liam compared it to fucking A24 films, and he's kind of right. Like A24 horror films and kind of like some of the shot composition and
like that with like Charlie Chaplin kind of shit mixed in with there as well. It's like really weird.
Yeah, and Looney Tunes as well. Like Looney Tunes is the obvious inspiration. It's so much fun. It's so fucking creative. It's a fun watch. It's a really great film, and I'd recommend everyone fucking check it out because it's a special fucking film, and I don't want to see it fly under the radar.
No, it shouldn't.
I really got to check it out. It piqued my interest for sure. Yeah, I really want to see it.
It's one of those movies you could show to anyone, and I feel like they'd just get something out of it because, like, how could you not just sit there and enjoy that? It's just so much fun. Like,
you just go with it. You're along for the ride, and like my face was like fucking in pain. Like when the film ended,
Yeah.
I was laughing so fucking much. Like it never lets up. Like there's maybe like 1 or 2 dud jokes in the entire movie, but like, it makes up for it like with so many other like fucking really fantastic and creative set pieces, and it's just, oh, I'm in love with it. It's fantastic. I love everything about it. Personally, I'd give it a 10 out of 10.
I watched Beetlejuice for the first time. I hadn't seen that before. I didn't really know anything about the plot at all, really, either. I had kind of like stayed away from that one. But no, like the plot is like something that I found really, really fun in that movie. It's just really creative, and my god, Michael Keaton I've never seen with that much energy. He's just so funny. Like I mean
he's the reason to watch it.
He really is.
He makes the movie.
And he's barely in the movie, isn't he? He's only in it for like half an hour or so.
Yeah, that's kind of I wanted him to be in there more. Winona Ryder's really good to follow, I think. She's a really enjoyable presence, and Catherine O'Hara was really funny. Among Tim Burton, it wouldn't rank like anywhere near the top for me or anything, but it's still like a very enjoyable time. Yeah, I don't really have like too much to say about it or anything. It's like an 8 out of 10 for me. It's enjoyable. It's a fun time. Looking forward to the sequel, I guess.
Why?
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I'm not. I like the first
I don't know
movie,
why
but I
doing
just for some reason do not care about a sequel. I just do not care. I'm not like that. Yeah.
The practical effects in it look pretty fucking sick, and I'm happy that he is using practical effects for it. But I have no faith in the movie being good, like apart from the effects.
I decided to finally watch Godzilla Minus One because I mean it was hyped up so much, you know. I mean everyone was talking about it, and I'm not a huge kaiju fan. Like I'm not a huge Godzilla fan. I mean it's the best one I've seen hands down. It just is. Visual effects are crazy for like apparently the small team that worked on it. You know, at the end of the day, like what I loved most about it was just the human characters. Like it's rare that the human characters are even good in any of these movies. And so the fact that they really nailed it and you can actually care about them and there's like a whole arc and everything, I mean, it just made it all the more enjoyable. There were stakes to it and there was a point to it. But Godzilla is badass in the movie. The whole atmosphere is awesome. Just like the fight sequences. It was just a overall great time, and I have like nothing bad to even say about it. So I gave it a 5 out of 5, and I'm still feeling that. So it's the only Godzilla movie I call perfect. It's the only one that I would call perfect.
I want to watch Shin Godzilla before I see that.
That is a good one too, because it's like a unique spin on it.
I know they're not related, but I don't know. That was like a big one that was talked about kind of when it came out, so I feel like I should.
Shin Godzilla was awesome, but like Minus One. Yeah. I also watched it in the past 2 weeks. It's like fucking horrifying at times. Like I just love the contrast between like the American Godzilla and the Japanese Godzilla. It's so funny because he's like, oh, he's your friend in the American ones, and then the Japanese ones, it's like, oh, this guy is gonna fucking murder everyone.
Yeah, he's a fucking bad guy, like what he's supposed to be. And you can actually take it seriously, unlike a lot of the American movies. So yeah, definitely check that out and check Shin Godzilla out, because that's like a good double feature right there.
Did anybody give a fuck about the new one? Like the whatever it's called?
I've seen clips and it looks funny.
It just looks so stupid. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like,
does anybody care about those movies anymore, really?
No.
I think I saw King Kong fucking suplexing Godzilla. that kind of looked sick.
Oh,
it's
in front of like a fucking pyramid, by the way, like a pyramid in Egypt. He just fucking suplexes him off it. It's fucking sick.
Those movies are fun, but they're just like literally the equivalent of like a kid fucking smashing toys together. Like that's all it is.
I saw a film It came out this year. It was directed by everyone's favorite Chris Pine. It's called Poolman.
Oh, why are you talking about that?
Because I've watched nothing fucking else. Poolman is like a mashup of The Big Lebowski and Under the Silver Lake. And it's so bad. It's so dreadfully fucking misguided in what it's trying to do. It's trying to be like a carefree, like Big Lebowski type thing where he's just kind of roaming around and he kind of only gives a shit about one thing, but he also wants to unravel this mystery. I fucking forgot what the mystery even is. What the fuck is even going on there? It's just a fascinating little train wreck, and I don't know why Chris Pine wanted to do it, like whether it was a passion project or not, because he also co-wrote it, I believe. He directed, he co-wrote it, and he starred in it. And I will give it credit that he is the best part of the movie. He gives like a solid performance, like not the best I've ever seen from him, but like he clearly gave a shit, and his performance shows in that aspect. But the directing was just very bland and one note, and fucking the writing was just all over the fucking place. It made Danny DeVito insufferable. I don't know how you do that. But holy shit, I could not stand Danny DeVito. I was like, what the fuck are you doing with Danny DeVito? This is not a character he should be playing. He's so fucking annoying. Get him off the fucking screen. Going into the film, I was like, you know what? If I don't like it, at least I'll have Danny DeVito. And I didn't even have fucking Danny DeVito to fall back on. It was a travesty. It's an awful movie. I don't know why it exists. It's really fucking bad. But like, yeah, check it out if you're curious, I guess. But like...
Yeah, he seems like a really weird dude, and I don't know, a lot of people thought he was kind of like losing his mind, but apparently it was for the role, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like he's crazy, he's just very concerned about the Los Angeles like public transport infrastructure, and I think that's where like the main mystery starts, because he goes to court and he's saying,
that's
"Look,
so
guys,
like that's so noir. That's so neo-noir. Like every noir movie is like, they're building a fucking highway. We gotta like investigate this highway. That's literally the plot of every noir movie too.
It is very noirish, and it even references Chinatown at points. And I took my headphones off because I felt like they were about to spoil Chinatown, and I was like, I'm not getting Chinatown spoiled with this fucking movie. I swear to God, I don't want that.
You gotta see Chinatown. I'm surprised.
I know
that's that's the peak noir movie, I think, probably.
But yeah, so it's like a neo-noir comedy thing. Yeah, I've talked enough about it. It's awful. 2 out of 10. Only a 2 out of 10 because I thought Chris Pine gave a pretty good performance, and there was one joke that made me laugh.
I finally got around to watching Alex Garland's Civil War. Yeah, for me it didn't really work all that well. You know, it's like showcasing like war and all these like tragedies and stuff, but I don't really feel like it says anything about it by the end of the day, and I don't really understand what the goal of the movie really was. Feels like too artsy for its own good at some points as well. Like I wanted more war and stuff like that, and it really does just follow the journalists around. I don't know, I just ended up kind of being bored by them, and Kirsten Dunst for me was really boring to watch. I thought Kaylee Spiney was really good though. Well shot and everything, like it really looks good and stuff and sounds good. Like I enjoyed watching it, but it's the first Alex Garland movie that's actually disappointed me this much, and I don't really see it coming back like Men did for me. As for now, it's a 5 out of 10 for me.
It's definitely hit or miss for people. It was a divisive one for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the opposite reaction. It was definitely higher for me, but still my least favorite Alex Garland probably, but I definitely enjoyed it a lot. I watched The Pope's Exorcist with Russell Crowe.
Woo, okay.
Yeah, dude.
In preparation for the exorcism?
Oh yeah, exactly. Which I didn't know. I didn't know that was not a sequel. That looked like a sequel.
It's so fucking weird, isn't it? Like
it is, yeah, because he plays a different character. I swear to God, like, why is he just doing random generic exorcism movies now? I thought this movie was gonna be super generic and boring, and I was actually kind of wrong. It is really goofy. It's really over the top. Russell Crowe fucking carries it. He is so he's just so weird and off the wall. But also like restrained when he needs to be. I don't know. He definitely carries it, and his character has a personality, which it's based on. I mean, it's based on a real guy, but I'm sure none of this shit actually happened because it gets so over the top. But just to like give you a sense of like the tone of the movie, this isn't spoiling it because it's literally the opening scene. The opening, of course, has to open with like an exorcism scene, you know, to establish like how badass this exorcist is. And he goes into this room. This guy is like freaking out on the bed. He's, you know, obsessed. Russell Crowe sits down and he starts talking to him, and like the devil's giving him shit and stuff. Bringing a pig into the room in the exorcism room.
Oh my
They bring a
God.
pig in. Yeah. And then Russell Crowe is like, I bet you cannot even possess this pig. I bet you can't possess this, take control of this pig. Like he's taunting the devil and he's like, I bet you can't do it. And then he's like, oh, I'll do it. And then the demon jumps into the pig gets possessed. And then some guy shoots the pig in the head and kills it. And then that was their way of getting rid of the demon. It was so fucking hilarious.
Holy shit.
It's just
That's
so
fucking
unexpected.
That is very badass.
Dude, it's awesome. It was, yeah. It does go through some slow and boring moments, and by the end of it, of course, like it gets so CGI and so overblown and fucking crazy in the end that it kind of just like feels like a whole different movie. So it's not a great movie. It's not really even a good movie, but I did have fun with it in some moments. So I gave it a 3 out of 5. But it's definitely a guilty pleasure kind of movie.
So I'm going to talk about the new Charli XCX album, BRAT.
Oh,
because
boy.
I have nothing else to talk about. It is a bit divisive, and I was a bit on the fence when I first listened to it, but I've heard it like 4 times now, I think. First time I heard it, I was like, yeah, this is good, but it's not what I wanted. But on repeat listens, it just really opened itself up to me, and now I fucking love it. I think it's probably Charli's best album. It's just non-stop club bangers with like a few slow songs in between, because you can't have a club album without a few slow songs or whatever. The club bangers go fucking hard, and the slower songs, like, they're kind of hit and miss for me, but when I started actually listening to and reading the lyrics, it revealed like a lot of depth in them, like about like kind of going to the club to kind of isolate yourself from everyone and kind of just bury your feelings and stuff like that. And I think it deals a lot in those kind of themes, and I really respect that given how upbeat and intense like a lot of the tracks generally are. The production is fucking fantastic, so clean, so fucking sugary, so addictive. I really love it. It is my favorite Charli XCX album so far, I think. Like, it's either that or How I'm Feeling Now. Love them both. But yeah, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I really fucking loved it. If you like Charli's music, go listen to it. It's fantastic.
I'm with you there in those 2 albums. It's kind of tied almost, like that album and then How I'm Feeling Now. Those are my 2 favorites.
Yeah, I think they're both excellent. They're both like
Yeah.
her most kind of cohesive albums, I feel. Although I'm not a fan of how... Did you notice that on Spotify she changed all her...
I
album covers
fucking
to-
hated
Yeah,
that. I hated
That's
that.
awful. I fucking hate it.
Yeah. I saw that and I was like, what am I looking at? This looks like shit. This is stupid. Like,
I like those
I don't know
older
what
album
she's
covers.
doing. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what she's doing, but it's weird. I don't know what she's trying to do or say.
I like the BRAT album cover on its own, but like the other albums don't really lend itself to that.
Yeah, they really don't. Yeah, I didn't even know that they could do that.
It's fucked up. Restore the old
Yeah.
fucking album cover, Spotify.
It's got, I mean, they've got to put them back. At some point, I bet they'll revert back, but it's like, yeah, that really threw me off too.
For my last one, I will talk about a show I watched 2 seasons, White Lotus. Me and Julie have been like watching through this. She showed it all to me, and mostly I feel like I was the one saying like, you know, can we watch White Lotus tonight? I've just been so into this shit. Like, Mike White is a fucking genius. Like, his writing here is just unbelievably fucking good. The entire first season kind of like has a running theme about money, and the second has a running theme about sex, and I've heard that the third is going to have like another running theme as well. The way he approaches all of those like talking points and stuff is so well handled, with all of these different characters that have like, I don't know, really different motivations and stuff throughout the show. And it plays out like a mystery thing as well, because like at the start of every season someone will be found dead and you're left guessing who it is for the whole season. So there's also that element to it. And it's just like, it makes the entire thing just so interesting and fun, and you want to watch every interaction that every character has, and they're all so fascinating on their own. And I just loved it so much. Season 1, easy 10 out of 10 for me. Season 2, 9 out of 10. So yeah, watch White Lotus. It's fucking
Nice.
great. So good.
How does it compare to School of Rock?
I don't know how to answer that.
That's the only other Mike White thing I know of.
He's only like really brought out this talent like now, I guess, because yeah, I've looked back on like a lot of his stuff and it doesn't seem that great or interesting or whatever.
What do you mean? School of Rock's a fucking banger.
I mean,
Yeah, it is.
School of Rock is a banger, and like his cameo in Zombieland is very fun.
He was in Zombieland?
Yeah, he's that dude that gets like eaten by a zombie when he's on the toilet.
Oh, in the bathroom. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that guy.
That's like the only 2 things I know from a School of Rock and
Yeah.
Zombieland. Well, okay, for my last thing, it's a few things, but I'm gonna conjoin them into one because that's how they were meant to be. And I'm talking about the Human Centipede trilogy, which I watched.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not the same person after the first movie. Honestly, like, It's pretty forgettable. It's pretty uneventful and like underwhelming, honestly. It's only popular because of its concept, and they don't even go far with the concept. It's like incredibly like tame and restrained for what it is. And I was just left like, really, this is what shocked people? Like there was like hardly anything shown. Still like a cool concept, and it's kind of campy and a little funny at times. So like, you know, I gave it a 2 out of 5. It was a letdown. But the second movie, holy shit. I mean, so I don't know if people have heard about this, but like it's pretty much notorious for being one of the most infamous like extreme cinema films, and I was not expecting that from a Human Centipede movie, because I thought these movies were just supposed to be goofy and kind of like jokes and like, you know, cheesy and stuff. I did not know what I was getting into with the second one. It's honestly, I would put it up there with a Serbian film in terms of the most insane things I've seen. It's in black and white because they thought it was too gory to have in color, so they had to put it in black and white. And the reason that it goes so far is because Tom Six, the director of these movies, he was like kind of pissed about people. He was like people like me that said the first movie was like way too tame and like, you know, that was like nothing, you know. And so he was like pissed at, like, he was like, all these like horror nerds are saying that the first movie was nothing. Well, he basically found like a list. He made the movie with the intent, he wanted it to be banned. So he basically went down a checklist of things you can't show on film or that they wouldn't allow, and he made sure to include all of those things in this movie. Normally I would hate that. Like that's kind of why I didn't like Serbian films, because like I felt like they were just trying to get a rise out of people. They were just trying to be shocking. And you can say that about this movie, because I mean, he basically admitted he wanted it to get banned. But I really think that, I mean, I'm one of the few people that probably thinks there's like more merit to the movie than just that. The real shocking shit is all shoved to the last like 30-40 minutes. So there's a good at least half or a little bit more than half of the movie that's like build up and like character build up, and it's following this like really weird, just the protagonist is so weird. And I honestly, some people that defend the movie have likened it to like Taxi Driver and shit in terms of like psychological, no, for real, like it's not to that level, it's not to that quality, but like it's not to that quality, but like I'm saying, like they really tried to have, it's like almost like a portrait of a fucking psychotic guy, but by the end of it, because like, I mean, he's just like beaten down in society this whole movie, and then he basically by the end, and the funniest part is that it's so meta because he's obsessed with the Human Centipede film. That's like his character, is
Keelan
that he's
brought
always
that up, didn't he?
All I know about the Human Centipede 2 is what I've read in the IMDb Parents Guide, and also just like clips of it I've watched.
Oh man, see, sometimes I like to look at the Parents Guide too, just to like know what happens, but I went into this so blind that it was even more shocking because I didn't know that. But no, I do think it was kind of unique that like it was funny because like the main guy is constantly rewatching the first Human Centipede movie, and that's obviously how he gets his inspiration to do a 12-person Human Centipede instead of a 3-person like in the first movie. It's fucking crazy. It's shocking. It's like one of the most depraved things I've ever seen, but I rated it very highly. I'll just say that. I don't know why. I can't explain why I liked it. I think these movies get a lot of hate, honestly, because like when I go to their letterbox, everyone's giving them half stars, and I'm like, I think just most people just don't like extreme cinema, and I get it. I totally get it. And this is like one of the...
From the IMDb Parents Guide.
Dude, I know.
2 things from it that stick out in my mind. I won't elaborate, but I'll say vague things and you'll know what they are.
Yeah.
Baby and sandpaper.
Oh, yeah.
Those 2
they're separate things, though. The baby is not involved with the
thing.
sandpaper.
I hope not.
But, dude, no.
Oh, the baby's involved in much worse.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And I mean, hey, I didn't mention in the past, but a Serbian film does stuff with a baby too, and I'm like, why? That's like just like the most go-to shocking thing. Like, what can we do to a fucking baby? Like, apparently that's like if you want to get banned, you have to bring a baby into it.
I will say I've read the Parents Guide for a Serbian film as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
so you know.
Yeah. No. In comparing the 2, it does seem like Human Centipede 2 is trying to have a bit more fun with it, and the Serbian film is just trying to piss you off.
How is our podcast not banned yet?
I know, right? I guess the difference I would say is that Human Centipede 2, even though it is so bleak and it's so serious about itself, it does have that goofy nature at the end because I mean, shit is literally splattering on the screen. It's really all out in terms of it's kind of funny, but also really messed up. But a Serbian film thinks it's way smarter than it is because it's trying to make a statement on like entertainment and society and stuff, and it just falls flat. And then the last one, Human Centipede 3, the goofiest of the three. I thought it was hilarious. I was like laughing out loud a lot because it's like the most straightforward like satire comedy almost, and they do a 500-person human centipede at a prison. And so actually there are really fucked up moments in that, but they're kind of far and few between, and it's not as shocking, but it's a lot funnier. So yeah, it's a really unique trilogy because all the movies are really different. Actually, all three of them are really different, and I didn't hate any of them. They're not for everybody. I wouldn't recommend probably anybody watch them, but I really like the second one.
Mini topics?
I actually don't have any this time. I was trying to find something, I just couldn't find anything.
Yeah, I don't know if there has been much.
There's
shit
really
in the
not
past few
been
weeks.
anything, has there? House of the Dragon season 2 started. Woo! That's the only thing.
There's
I
that.
don't know.
The Boys season
The Boys
4
season
started.
4 started,
Ooh.
yeah.
Jacob Tremblay graduated from high school.
Hey.
Oh, what?
Good
Big
job,
up,
Jacob
Jacob.
Tremblay.
Justin Timberlake was arrested.
Oh yeah, that happened last night, didn't it?
Yeah, that mugshot, that went viral.
I heard about it because I just saw a tweet that said Justin Timberlake's mugshot has been released, and I was like, "What? There's more to this. What do you mean it's been released? What the fuck happened?"
Well, best of luck, Justin.
That'll be the mini topic page on the podcast or the Instagram post. Is I'll just have Justin Timberlake's big mugshot as the only mini topic.
You should.
Just
Oh my
mini
God.
topic, Justin Timberlake.
He just released like his first album in like what 6 years or something, 6 or 7.
He just did that too. Wow.
Yeah, and then he gets
Maybe
arrested.
this is a big publicity stunt.
Well, congrats, Jacob Tremblay. Free my boy Justin. That's the mini topics this week.
The 2
That
J's.
is-
Do you want to maybe just like add in another thing if you guys like have another watch or anything? I don't have anything, but if you guys want to,
I mean, I did have like one other.
Oh yeah, I could. Fuck, I forgot I watched that. I could throw in one.
yeah, go ahead.
I watched the new Richard Linklater movie Hitman, which came out on Netflix, and I thought it was fucking great. It's the best Hitman movie of the past year. Fuck you, David Fincher. You're nothing.
Oh,
Come on.
that's true. I already forgot about that movie, and I like that movie, and I already forgot about it. That's the sad part, honestly. Fuck.
Yeah, Hitman is a movie about a hitman, but there's no hitman in it, and it's fucking awesome. Glenn Powell is fucking amazing in it. It's the best I've ever seen him. I think he does such a wonderful job in the role, and because he has to fucking come up with so many disguises to match like other people's personalities when they're doing like sting operations and stuff, he gets to really show his whole range here, and I think he does a fucking fantastic job at it. The supporting actress, what's her name? Adria Arjona. She was really great too for like she was mostly in the second half of the movie, but she was fantastic there. I just really loved it's kind of like a deconstruction of like the idea of like identity and how like we view ourselves and stuff like that. And I think it went about it in a really smart way, and I found myself laughing a lot. And the second half goes so fucking hard. The second half like elevates the movie to another level. I think I like if the whole movie was like the second half, would probably be like a 9 out of 10 for me, but the first half I liked it. I really liked it a lot, but it wasn't as engaging as the second half. But yeah, it's a really fun movie. I'd really recommend people check it out. It's just a very, very likable movie. It's a Richard Linklater movie. Like, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really, really fun.
It was good. I saw it too. It was good. The shitty Strangers movie I talked about in the last episode, The Strangers Chapter 1, kind of spurred me to rewatch the original Strangers from 2008 just to see how it compared, and because I honestly didn't remember a lot from it. And yeah, it actually got better on rewatch. I don't think it's like a masterpiece or anything. I mean, it's not much to it. I really think, and maybe, like I said, maybe I'm just comparing the terrible new movie that came out to this, and I'm seeing this in a better light, but I kind of liked the original a lot more. It just has good atmosphere. It just has, I mean, Liv Tyler's great, even though the movie has a really somber, miserable tone to it, and it's just kind of like really slow at times. I like the atmosphere a lot. It's short and sweet, and yeah, it's just kind of your definitive, like, it's like your home invasion staple of horror, honestly. I mean, Not that that's a great genre, but this is like probably one of the best ones of it. But I do hate the ending. I really hate the ending. That's what's keeping it from probably being like higher for me. Just the final shot is so cliche. I won't spoil it, but the final shot of the movie is so dumb and cliche and forced, and it just like makes no sense. But yeah, other than that, it was a solid little home invasion thriller. Yeah, I don't know. I gave it a 4 out of 5 actually. So
yeah, like I said, I fucking hate it, but like if you find some enjoyment in it, you want to talk about the first episode of House of the Dragon?
No. I'll talk about the season when it's done. It's fine. Every Sunday, baby.
all right, well, I guess if that's it, then I can get on to the main topic, which I recommended. I wanted us to go back to a little movie discussion because it's been a few episodes since we've had a movie discussion, and I don't know, I was in a little weird horror mood, and I felt like picking a couple movies I thought would be interesting to talk about because they are so divisive in the horror community, but also in general. They're just so divisive for some reason. And but I feel like they're also very similar in a lot of ways because they're both kind of analog horror movies, this like kind of new little subgenre of horror movies that you don't see very often, and sort of like internet aesthetic, internet related horror movies. So yeah, so I guess I will introduce the first of these movies, which came out first, and that's We're All Going to the World's Fair, directed by Jane Schoenbrunn? What?
I think it's Schoenbrunn.
Schoenbrunn? Yeah, and she just put out that new movie, I Saw the TV Glow, which I think I am now the only person that has not seen that yet. But this came out in 2021. Here's a really short description. Reality and fantasy begin to blur when teenager Casey, alone in her attic bedroom, immerses herself in a role-playing horror game online. Nice little short and simple and weird little movie, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I did like it my first time, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't recommend it again. I fail to find other movies that are quite like it, honestly. It kind of uses that technique of like taking you know those, what are those like movies to where it's like it takes place on like a computer screen and shit? Is there a name for that?
Unfriended?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you mean like an actual name for it? I don't.
Yeah, Unfriended.
No, there's many movies that do it, and you brought up one of the worst ones. No, but
the Unfriended technique
is awful, but
it's one of those. It's along the lines
the
of like
searching
Unfriended,
technique.
Post. Searching is the best example of
Searching
this.
is really
to where
good.
the Searching is great.
It is good.
Searching is a great movie, and it was a really cool theater experience. But yeah, so it's like it's along the lines. It uses that technique of like the screen is like the computer screen, but it's actually kind of mixed in with, you know, your typical handheld, you know, like movie style filmmaking as well. And so I feel like it did a really cool balance of that. And I don't know, I feel like I see a lot of movies do one or the other, but not really both. And
that's one of my big problems with it, is it mixing both.
Oh, like fully on the computer, fully like.
Yeah, or at least like consistently have that feel, because I felt like sometimes when shots like switched from a different, you know, thing to another, it felt jarring at times. And sometimes those sequences would drag a little bit much, and I'd be like, okay, I'm getting lost in this kind of world now, and now it's just going to switch back to that again. And I don't know, tonally, it doesn't quite feel right to me. But I'm very much in the minority here.
Well, you're in the minority here, but like you're not in the minority overall. Like Quinn said, It is like a very divisive movie, and I can absolutely see why.
It seems like most people like it.
Most people like on Letterboxd maybe, but yeah, I mean, trust me, I've definitely
like
found
on IMDb they hate it.
Any vaguely like kind of out there movie, IMDb has like a fucking really low rating for it, unless it's a classic. But
yeah,
I think it was a good idea to recommend both We're All Going to the World's Fair and Skinamarink.
They do go well together.
Yeah.
It's the natural progression from like your Unfriendeds and your like friend request or whatever the fuck, where it's using this new technology in like a new way to like achieve more with horror than like can't do in other types of horror subgenres, if that makes sense. And I really appreciated that about We're All Going to the World's Fair. I thought the blend of the handheld stuff and the analog stuff was really well done, and I thought it served a really good purpose throughout the film. There's especially one scene that I think it works fucking perfectly for, like the New Year's Eve scene. I thought like that's probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie, I think. And I think it's a good example of why I think the handheld with the analog works, because it shows kind of the two sides of it, where like she kind of feels more comfortable online but in the real world it's just like she's just fucking hopelessly isolated. And that New Year's Eve scene is just like, fuck yeah, I got a lot out of it in terms of like emotional resonance and relatability, because it is a very new age horror in that like people only of our generation could probably see where the relatability comes from in it, I suppose, because it is a very kind of new problem, and it does address that like fucking head on. And I really appreciated that about this movie. I really thought it was really well done. Like, it's not perfect, but I thought it was well done for what it was.
Yeah, and I to add on to what you said, I mean, about like, I feel like that was maybe, you know, intentional or not, like another reason why it was split up between the whole computer point of view as well as like the real life handheld point of view, because at the end of the day, that really felt like what the movie was about to me was about like how, I don't know, you can get so lost in the online rabbit holes and like your persona online and trying to appear a certain way, but in the real life,
I find that part really interesting.
And then, you know, and then it's as opposed to the real life to where it is so kind of, it is isolating, and she's just kind of like out walking around, and like, I mean, it's such a vibe too. Like, I just love the vibe of the movie, just out in the fucking woods. The music is incredible, by the way. Like, I haven't mentioned the music. I fucking love the music here. I don't know why.
It's nice.
I thought it was going to clash with the tone of it, with it kind of being like indie instrumentals, but like, I thought it worked well for what the movie was going for.
Yeah, just, I don't know, overall, like the aesthetic and like the visuals and then the music, all of it together, just like, it just feels so cool. It just feels so nice, but also really eerie and kind of off-putting, and like honestly kind of sad when she is just out alone, like not, you know, just like, I don't know. And like even the opening shot, you know, right when it starts off and she's just sitting in her room alone and just like, you know, just kind of like aimlessly just like sitting there and like trying to think about what to say on camera. I'm like, damn.
They captured the isolation and stuff really well. I would agree with that. Definitely.
Yeah. So just even that from the opening shot alone, you just immediately get, you know, a sense of, I don't know, just a sense of like the type of people that do this. And I mean, obviously we could relate to it as well, whether it be content creators or just people online, you know, getting lost in fucking rabbit holes and stuff.
Oh yeah, God, yeah.
I think it was kind of inaccurate when I said only we could understand it, because I thought of something else that this kind of, it's not very closely associated with, but it's another example of like getting lost in like online rabbit holes and shit, of like QAnon and stuff like that, where like older people would get sucked into that kind of stuff, whereas younger people would kind of get more sucked into like conspiracy theories, whether they're harmful or just like fucking really nonsensical stuff that are just like no harm at all. People do get sucked into it, and I think it is a case of like isolation and like having no one else to talk to, that you're like, oh, this stuff is really interesting, and like I'm just going to dedicate my whole life into unraveling it. And I guess that is kind of because we never really find out exactly what the game is, I suppose.
Not really.
I don't know if that's a spoiler or not. The game itself does work as just like you kind of put whatever you think yourself onto it, you know, whatever it is, and it kind of lets you fill in the blanks, and it's just more so seeing how spiraling down this rabbit hole affects Casey. Casey was the main character's name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was really well handled, I think, and it was a good choice to just kind of keep it vague, apart from like the first scene maybe where she's entering the game.
Yeah, and it's also just kind of cool because like there's very few movies I found that really kind of relate even closely to the world of like creepypasta type horror, you know, that whole weird internet like subculture of that weird forbidden type horror, and they don't really go super far with it. Like I really wish they kind of went farther and she found some really fucking creepy videos that she was watching, but instead it was kind of just like people doing weird things and acting kind of weird, and it's I get what they were doing, but
that kind of stuff was always so odd to me, and it like felt like it had this like student film quality to it a lot of the time. I mean, like the film itself is kind of, it's gonna lend itself to that, I feel, because of the way that it's like put together and everything. Just having those like little, you know, whatever they were, like TikToks and fucking reels or whatever, of just people doing random shit. I was just like, that doesn't look like something I would actually find. It looks like something that someone would make to look like that.
Yeah.
Just to me.
But like that I think that kind of gives itself kind of like an unreliable narrator aspect to it. You know, you don't know whether or not like she's actually believing this shit, or it's just kind of like, oh yeah, because they do say, oh yeah, you know this is just like a story, right? It's just role playing. So it's just people kind of making their own stories and like just kind of putting out there what the game is doing to them, and it's obviously fictional. It's made to look real, I suppose. It never looks real.
I feel like the whole like kind of message of the movie is already like captured in the opening scene enough, and like I don't really feel like it delves that further into that subject for me past that point.
To a degree, I do agree with you in that opening scene alone does capture that, but I think after that opening scene, the film just kind of put me in kind of a lull where it was almost hypnotizing to watch, especially the scenes of the YouTube videos just auto-playing. I really fucking love that. It didn't really do much to fucking forward any plot or anything, but like I just thought it was like hypnotic, and I enjoyed watching it, and I enjoyed that you got to see what other people were doing to interact with the game.
I mean, it just really captured like the relatability, the relatableness of like you said, hypnotizing. Like you can get just so lost online, but also like the mundanity, like the mundaneness of it, how she's just laying there just like mindlessly letting the videos just autoplay, and like how, I mean, when you are this type of person and so lonely and isolated and all you've got is this online world, how just like you can just, it just like definitely hit me, because I mean, I remember back in fucking middle school, like with my laptop, like I'd be up in my bedroom just like watching weird, like I would go down rabbit holes of creepypasta shit, and like that was my like escape.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like, it definitely is our generation type of things that it's trying to capture, I guess.
There was kind of like that whole thing with that other character though, like the guy that she was talking to.
That's kind of a weird aspect of it. Yeah.
That stuff kind of just like, I don't know, really dragged in those scenes for me, especially because they all talk so slow back and forth to each other, you know?
And so quietly, like so like, you know, carefully. I don't hate that aspect of the plot, but it's definitely kind of like, to me, I just didn't need that, but I feel like they needed to add some more meat onto the story, I guess, you know? Otherwise it is like there's not much there.
And I feel like in some shots later on as well, when you were like actually seeing him too, like the camera felt a little bit too kind of perfectly, you know, framed. Like it wasn't like handheld anymore, and I don't know, it just felt kind of off. I did think Anna Cobb was quite good though. I mean, like for a first time performance, it's like it's good.
I thought she was awesome, actually. I thought she was great. But
I really thought she was fantastic. Like for basically what's a one-hander, like she sold it very fucking well. And
that's true.
It's not easy to act by yourself. You know, it's really not easy to act just in front of a camera by yourself. She's acting alone, but she also has to act to an audience. I found that really impressive.
Might as well jump into spoilers. All right, so
spoilers for We're All Going to the World's Fair.
That was the first one in a while. Holy shit.
It was.
We're back.
We haven't spoiled shit in like 3 episodes. We're back. This was something that did the only thing that lessened for me on rewatch was the creepy factor. When I first watched it, maybe it was just the situation I watched it in. I mean, it was really late at night and I heard some things about this movie like, oh, it's got some creepy moments and shit. When I first watched it, there were 2 moments that legitimately I thought were creepy. And this time, I did not find it creepy or scary whatsoever, but the more personal aspects were even more profound to me, I guess. So it kind of evened out. So like, it's really hard for me to even see this as a horror movie now, but as opposed to my first watch. But I didn't know I assume this didn't like creep any of you guys out. It's pretty tame, you know?
Yeah.
It's not really.
I'd hesitate to even call it a horror movie much.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to talk much about it, but I'd even say that about I Saw the TV Glow. I don't think either of them like are really that scary, but they're going for, like I was saying, like new age internet horror kind of thing.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of creeped me out was the guy's message to Casey, like on the projector screen. I thought that was effective. It didn't like terrify me or anything, but I thought it was well done, and it was a believable creepypasta-ish type thing where like it doesn't look quite right. It looks very amateurish, like the cutout of her eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I really
and then how
that.
they slowly start just going black and the fucking audio gets all weird and shit. I thought that was one of the 2 moments that I did think was creepy my first time. The other moment was when, and it kind of like this whole movie, it does, even though it's not scary at all anymore to me, it does give me like Paranormal Activity vibes at times, just with its webcam and like when she's capturing her sleep and stuff. I mean, but I just really wish they nailed it harder. I really fucking wish that they done some more stuff with it. If you're gonna call yourself a horror movie, you know, I'm referring to the moment that like the only moment that is kind of creepy to me is that when like she's sleeping and then she like sticks her face in the light and does that fucking wide smile. I'm like, whoa, like it looks like her face is fucking changing. Like that's kind of cool. Like, you know, that was like a little creative, simple thing. I wish they just added more moments like that in there, because otherwise it really is just kind of a coming of age melodrama at the end of the day.
I like that it's grounded. I like that there's only little kind of tidbits here and there, like the wide smile and stuff like that. The thing that scared me the most in the movie was the fucking opening where she fucking takes the pin and she sticks it in her fucking finger. Because I thought she was going to do it once, and then she starts fucking stabbing it, and I was like, ew, stop.
Yeah.
Fucking stop that shit. Oh, I did not like that. Did not like that. And I'm fine with most gore, but like when it's something specific like that, it's just like fuck off.
It is so grounded. It is.
You know what can fuck off? That ASMR section. I didn't like that.
Oh, I
it went
hated
on
that
for way
too.
too long.
I'll admit, I did not like. I hate ASMR in general.
I hate ASMR so much.
That's like, yeah. It's just I hate it. It's supposed to calm people down, and it makes me more uncomfortable. So I just hate it.
So annoying.
I just hate hearing people whisper into a mic.
Yeah.
It's like this is like
you're fine.
Oh, I hate it.
I thought it was fine.
It's fine. It doesn't like ruin the movie or anything.
It serves
for
a
me, but,
purpose for people, whatever.
Right. You know,
it serves a purpose to Casey, and that's what matters in the movie.
That's true. It does.
Well.
Yeah. If they had included more shit like the creepypasta kind of style shit in the movie, then I would have loved it. Like I would have thought, honestly, this was almost perfect, because like it's weird that I can go online right now and I can find. I mean, if I type in creepypasta, like I would find anything creepier than what was in the movie. So why not just like try and like gather more inspiration from that and like go hard with it? Just go all in. Like I'm so stuck on this point.
I'm still on the side of it being grounded because of that relatability. Like I was talking about that New Year's Eve section earlier.
Yeah.
That creeped me out. What she was talking about over it, like she was talking about like her having a rifle and she knows where her dad's shotgun in or whatever. I like that, and also combined with that like really fucking strange small town like New York fucking New Year's Eve ball drop thing. That was kind of a chill vibe, but like that thing of just like being alone in like a huge fucking crowd of people, that's something like I personally fucking deeply relate to. And that's why that scene stuck with me so much. And I do like this film because of little aspects like that. And I felt like for what it was, I didn't need it to go any harder. I thought it was fine as it was. I do agree with Liam on the other character and like how fucking slow he talks, because it's kind of fucking painful at times. Where it's just like, dude, can you fucking speed up a little, please?
Yeah.
But
it's all that microwaved milk. That microwave milk got him fucked up. Dude, that was some weird character quirks. That guy was like a child, though. His bedroom literally looked like a child's bedroom when he was drinking warm milk, and that was just a weird character.
Like Cleopatra.
I'm not completely sold on the ending, I think. I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure about it. I don't like how neatly it wraps up, let's say.
Are you talking about when he's like talking about how he met up with Casey and stuff?
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't huge on that. It was kind of left too unambiguous. But like, again, it could be an unreliable narrator thing where like Liam's right, he was a pedo and he's just kind of speaking to like his audience of whatever, just to say, oh yeah, look, this is what happened, we didn't do anything else, we hugged, that's about it. Because there is like about like a fucking 20-30 age gap between them.
Yeah,
but I'm also kind of willing to believe that he does kind of care about her, but like it's the internet, like who the fuck is going to, you do never know.
I did like that aspect about it, is that how the internet can just like, it attracts all sorts of weird people, especially the weirdest of people, to get trapped in these weird online worlds, and like how you don't really know who you're talking to, that type of the aspect. I really think they nailed that too, because like I wish they kind of withheld the reveal of his character a bit longer, but it's like after their first conversation, then all of a sudden you see the guy. I think it would have been cooler if like you almost felt more of a connection between them, or like you weren't sure who it is, and then at the end you see it's this weird guy, like what? Yeah. You know, so that would have been kind of better.
I completely agree with that, because like when you do talk to him first, you kind of almost, when she does talk to him first, you almost imagine him as being around Casey's age. Like especially with that fucking profile picture, because that's like a fucking rage comic or something.
Yeah,
I did enjoy the characterization with him, with just like the house he lives in, how his bedroom's like him drinking the microwaved milk. I thought that stuff was really cool. I like when characterization is done through just by surroundings, and I think it worked very well for his character, but I do think his character is kind of the worst part of the movie for the reasons I just talked about.
It's the part I could have done without, but I didn't think it was handled too terribly.
Yeah, because he is kind of necessary to have there to kind of you see Casey's progression through his eyes, because like it starts auto playing videos and like the months start to go by. The fucking whatchamacallit, the video where she's showing off her high school, I thought that was a little eerie. I like that,
Yeah.
where she's just kind of walking through like the graveyard. What was that fucking video where it was like titled something like "You'll never guess where I am today," and it turns out to be like a hardware store or something? Wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
That was funny. That was a little goofy.
What'd you think of her little like dancing singing video?
She has a fucking phenomenal scream. She has a future in horror.
It's a good scream.
That damn song got stuck in my head though. Love in winter feels so. Well, I can't remember the words. Her dance is kind of weird though. I don't know what she was doing there.
She was possessed. You had to send fucking Russell Crowe
That's
into
true.
Russell Crowe with his pig.
I'll shoot her and keep the pig.
Damn.
Huh?
How
What
dare
the
you.
fuck? Get off the podcast.
Can't do
right
Casey
fucking
like
now.
that.
She was on the internet too long.
Well, fucking execute me then, Jesus.
Touch grass, Casey.
Hey,
That's
she
the
does.
message
She goes
of the movie.
outside.
That's the
She does go
You
outside.
derive a lot of messages from this movie. I loved it even more my second time. It is divisive, which is why I wanted to recommend it. It's definitely not for everybody. A rewatch solidified it that I really liked it a lot, and I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna go with a 3 out of 10.
fair.
Sorry.
That's fine.
It's one of those movies where I feel like I want to fix it. You know, like
I can fix you. I can fix
Yeah.
you.
I would personally give it an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Very unique film, very relatable. I really liked a lot about it, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Not sure if I'd watch it anytime soon, but maybe in the future
Yeah.
I'd give it a rewatch. It is an interesting little film, and I'm glad it exists, and I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Quinn.
Yeah, I'm glad. Well, hey, I'm glad that one other person besides me liked it. I was afraid I'd be alone this whole episode, so I'm glad. And the second movie I recommended was Skinamarink, which, yeah, I want obviously double feature. Like I said, I think these movies are kind of similar. And yeah, I'll just get right into it with the description of this one. So, 2 children wake up in the middle of the night to find that their father is missing and all the windows and doors in their home have vanished. And that's it. That's the movie.
That's the
Good
plot.
night, people. Yeah,
That's Skin to Bedink.
that's the Skinamarink.
Skinamarink.
So
What a
yeah,
fun title.
it is a fun title. Nice little fun title. Obviously, yeah, these two movies, I've already seen both. Like I said, they're very divisive. Like I said, I mean, this is probably, in my opinion, like the most divisive movie it's one of the most fucking divisive movies of like the 21st century so far, honestly, I would say, or of all time. I mean, I could say that too. Totally understand why some people think this is shit, because it's not a traditional movie in any type of way, but I also understand the people, I guess like me, that love it. So
Things happen. There
Things
are
do
walls,
happen.
There are ceilings. There are floors.
right. You can Skinamarink on the wall, Skinamarink
Down
when
the
you're
hole?
tall,
that's
Skinamarink
true.
on the floor, Skinamarink through a door.
Oh, is that the actual song?
No, I made that shit
Oh,
up.
you just
I
made
didn't
that
think-
up? You were just riffing?
Yeah, I just
Hell
made
yeah.
that shit up. Yeah, the T's
Get that recorded. Get
Dude.
that down.
Dude, I should.
It is
Eminem
recorded.
who? Fucking Eminem who? Yeah, no, but
It's a slow movie.
yes.
It's a very, very
is.
slow movie. I think we can all say that.
Oh yeah.
You'll need a lot of coffee. You need the
Yeah.
lights off, like Quinn said. Don't bring your phone to this movie. Just don't.
Yeah.
Put it away.
I hate giving setting certain rules for certain movies, saying like you have to experience it this way, because I think you should be able to watch any movie any type of way if you want. But like, I really think, for me personally at least, it is such an immersive experience to where it does immerse me so much into the movie that if I feel if I can just remove my distractions, and if I watch this shit at night and I'm just focusing on it, like I can really feel like you just feel the world of the movie. I just feel like I'm fucking there.
Movies are enhanced by their atmosphere a lot of the time, especially
They
ones
are.
like this.
Yeah, and I couldn't imagine watching this like during the day with like the light shining in and the lights on and shit. I feel like I would hate it, to be honest with you. Like I would not, I probably would not like it that much. So it's just a weird situation to where I have to watch it under certain circumstances. I think it ends up being like a really rewarding experience. I don't know, it hits me in a certain way that it's really even hard to fucking articulate into words, to be honest.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those movies that's hard to articulate a lot of things because it is so mundane, kind of.
Yeah,
and like,
it is.
You know, you are just watching places in the house and like random kind of shots and stuff and listening to children whisper occasionally. So it's like, it's a movie where you need to be awake, definitely. I would say. I don't know if I said or not to you guys, but like I fell asleep the first time. I fell asleep with like 40 minutes left.
Yeah.
And then they just played out. I fell asleep for like an hour and then I woke up and I was like, oh shit, okay. And then I finished it.
I get it. I definitely get it. It's, you know, when it's on in the background, it's almost like one of those damn like ambient fucking lo-fi videos you'd put on a loop on YouTube, you know, to like put somebody asleep. I mean, it is almost.
I do genuinely like appreciate the craft though. Like I think everything that went into the filmmaking here is like really good. Like it looks great, and like for what it's trying to achieve, it just there's nothing quite like it. I was really immersed in it for a lot of it.
Pure atmosphere. It's a slow burn, it's atmospheric, it's immersive. And I mean, I've said it before, but like I think comedy, what people find funny, is the most subjective thing like ever, but I think second place to that would be what people find scary. I think that's the most subjective thing. And I could understand why somebody would think this is just boring or not scary, and I think it's one of the scariest. I mean, to me, it's like one of the creepiest fucking movies. It just creeps me out. It really creeps me out. And we'll definitely talk about those moments later on for sure. But
you cannot deny that atmosphere. It's great.
You can't. Anyway, Keelan, you're leaving us in suspense. Did you love it? Did you hate it?
I told Liam when I was watching it last night. I got home from work at like 11:30. I didn't end up putting it on until like 12:30, so past midnight. I did exactly what you said. I did not look at my phone. I don't like looking at my phone while watching movies anyway, like unless it's just like not engaging me at all. I had the lights turned off, I had the curtains closed, and yeah, it sucked me the fuck in. It reminded me so much of Eraserhead. And that is probably one of the highest compliments I can give a movie, because I don't think a film has scared me as much since I fucking first watched Eraserhead, and that's still
really
the scariest film I've ever seen. Like you're saying, horror is subjective.
It is.
And Eraserhead fucking terrifies me because of how abstract it and because of how interpretive everything is. And I think Skinamarink is also playing around in that same ballpark.
Yeah.
And it just fucking got the fuck under my skin. I'm going to be completely fucking honest with you. After 45 minutes, I turned the fucking light on. I'm so fucking scared.
I am very happy right now. I'm so happy right now.
Oh my god.
After the dad said, "Look under the bed," I paused and I was like, "Fuck." No.
Dude, that was perfect. I mean, and we're treading on spoilers. It's hard to, but like we'll get into all the creepy moments, but like, yeah, that was one example for sure.
I knew how it was going to go the first time around, and then they get back up and I was like, oh fuck, no, get that light the fuck on, this is too much. Like, it was actively giving me an intense amount of anxiety, and it was consistent. It wasn't just one scene, it was the whole movie, and I do put that down to the craft. I don't like the criticism that like anyone can make this. It's just shots of walls and ceilings and corners and stuff. It's very specifically edited to elicit an emotion out of you, and it does it so fucking well. To the point where even the film grain plays a part in how scary the film is. Where like there's like a shot of a hallway and the film grain's just going fucking crazy, and you almost think you see something in the darkness. Like, that's the stuff that fucks me up.
Yes.
That's the stuff that really fucking scares me. What scares me in horror is the unknown. Whenever a monster in a horror movie is shown, it's just like, oh, so that's what it looks like. But when you don't know what it looks like, it's like your imagination is going fucking nuts. Yes. And that's what I really appreciated about Skinamarink. It never gives you any concrete answers, but it's just a pure vibe movie. It's an exercise in like pure fucking dread and terror, and it just playing on all those childhood emotions that you have, like when you're afraid of the dark, when you're just like home alone at night and you're like, oh fuck, someone's going to come in and kill me. It plays with those themes very well, and it just fucking worked for me. And sorry, to add on to what Liam was saying earlier, it is very slow and it feels like double its fucking length, and I think that works to its advantage. Yeah. Because it almost feels like you're watching the movie forever, and it feels like a fucking nightmare that's never going to end. And so I like how slow it is, and how fucking... I like the slowness and the length of it because of that. I really enjoyed those aspects of it. So yeah, fuck, I love this fucking movie.
Hell yeah, dude! You're preaching to the choir. You're taking the words right out of my mouth. Because, like, I mean, I have exactly the same thoughts on my type of horror. Like, that is my type of horror as well as the unknown. I mean, I do appreciate a slow burn when it actually works. In this case, some movies are slow just for the sake of, like, the buildup is just not there. But the buildup here, I feel like they really nailed it. I feel like you need those mundane moments of, like, a shot of a corner, a shot of a hallway, a shot of the side of somebody's fucking head, because like you said, when it lingers on that, especially with the film grain, my eyes start playing tricks on me too. It's like that is just adds on to the immersion. Like, what you're seeing is what are you actually seeing? That the sluggish pace, I really think it's needed, because this has some of the most earned jump scares I've ever seen in any horror movie. You can argue whether they're kind of overblown and kind of a bit much at times, but like, I really feel like this is one of those cases to where it numbs you to the mundaneness to a point to where any sound, like even if it's not meant to be a jump scare, can startle you.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciated. Like, I think when like a door shuts and like the sound design is something fucking else. I feel like everything had to work perfectly in order for it to really work like that.
There's kind of a genius in the cinematography where, like, in movies and horror movies especially, you're given a focal point. Like, you know where you're looking at all times on the screen. But in Skinamarink, it rarely gives you that almost comfort. Like, it's always kind of like wide open spaces. There's not like one place you can be looking. Like, it could be a hallway. For example, there was one part in the movie where I think it is because of the fucking film grain, where it is just the shot of the hall in the darkness. There's something down like the left-hand side of the wall, and I thought it was something like crawling down the wall. And that fucking creeped me out, and I don't even know if that was intentional. I don't even know if that was in the movie. Yeah. But at times, it kind of, because of the film grain, it felt like the camera was moving. Mm-hmm. Because I was just looking around, like scanning the shot to see, like, oh, is there something hidden there? Is there something hidden there? And apparently, I was reading about this after the movie. Apparently, there's one shot in the movie where there is just someone standing in the doorway, but no one has found it yet.
Oh shit!
Like, probably someone in the internet has, but the director has stated like the only two people who know about it are him and his DOP. Wow. And that's about it, and no one else has kind of found where that hidden figure is. And I love shit like that. I fucking love shit like that in horror movies.
It's like that you could tell they wanted to make this movie for themselves almost, because they're that passionate about it, and like there's really nothing else like it. So I just appreciate that fucking level of just craft and just that level of uniqueness in a horror movie, honestly.
Yeah.
It's so hard to pull this off. I mean, anybody can do the shots of the corners and shit, sure, but it's balancing the scares with that, or knowing when to place them or what exactly you're building up to. I mean, it's I don't know. It was like it was like lightning in a bottle for me personally.
Yeah, I don't think any movie can be another Skinamarink. This is a 1 in a million movie, I think. Yeah. There's nothing quite like it. Like, however you fucking feel about it. Yeah. I don't think anyone has seen something like Skinamarink, unless like you're some fucking dude on Letterboxd saying, oh yeah, this is like watching paint dry or whatever. It's just like fucking, I don't know. I thought it was cool, but yeah. I get why it's divisive. It's not everyone's cup of tea. It's extremely experimental. Fucking understand why it doesn't resonate well with general audiences, because it did blow up on TikTok for some reason, like after it leaked at a online film festival or something. Mm-hmm. And people were like, oh, this is the scariest film ever made. And I think going in with the mindset, especially if you're not well versed in like horror movies, or you're just not a huge movie person in general, going in with the mindset of this is the scariest movie ever is never a good thing. Yeah. It's never a good thing to keep in mind when you're going into a horror movie. Like, the fucking Exorcist has been ruined for generations because people think of it as the scariest movie ever made, because that's how it was billed as. Like, after the version you've never seen before. And so when you place these kind of things on horror movies, I mean, it happens a lot on TikTok and Filmstagram and all that, where they'd be like, you need to check out this new Netflix horror movie. It might be the scariest movie I've ever seen. It's so annoying, and it's just like, don't sell it like that. It's not going to live up to that for everyone.
And I mean, it comes from a genuine place, though. It comes from a place of excitement, like us, of people that want to spread this movie and like want to hype it up to people. But at the same time, it's hard. It is hard, and it's situations like this to where, first of all, I don't know how I would sell it to somebody or even, recommend this to somebody. Yeah, there's a lot of creepy moments we can get into, but it kind of gets into spoiler territory, I guess.
Spoilers for Skinamarink.
We were talking about the jump scares earlier and how you felt all of them were earned. There was one jump scare I straight up fucking hated and nearly broke my immersion.
There's
what's
one
that?
for me as well, and I think it might be the same one.
Maybe.
The faceless girl.
Oh, that
no,
one?
not that
you
one.
hated that one?
I hated that one. It was just so not scary, and it felt like it was for the... I mean, it's kind of fucking weird to even say this. It felt like it was more for the audience than for the characters. Even though I know in the movie, Skinamarink takes the girl's eyes and mouth away.
Yes.
I think that's what's meant to be happening there.
Right.
But it just felt like so fucking cheap, where like it's just like there's one shot of her standing far away, then there's another shot of her standing close, like after the shot of her just kind of sitting against the wall. I really did not like that jump scare. Like the other jump scares I thought were really good. The phone jump scare, I jumped off my seat. I genuinely jumped off my seat.
No, that's like I think that is the most infamous jump scare of the movie, and that's why it's on
that's
all
the one I didn't like.
I love that one.
I'm kind of in the middle on that one. I think it's way too overblown. I think the sound is way too fucking loud. I think it honestly, a lot of these jump scares almost could have worked even without the sound. That's how like I could have been affected by it. So the fact that the sounds are so overblown, it's kind of like the jump scares you'd see on like creepy like
Screamers.
YouTube videos and shit.
Like the German car commercial.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly
shit like
like
that.
just somebody just fucking screaming in the camera out of nowhere when you least expect it. So like a lot of those can come off like that, but I don't know. I didn't hate any of the jump scares, but I definitely think they were a bit overblown. The sound, at least.
With the Barbie like falling. Wait, no, the Barbie didn't fall. Like what happened?
It was on the wall.
Yeah, it was on the
Yeah,
wall.
it was on
then-
the wall, and then the kid screamed.
Yeah, the kid screamed, and I thought it did fall. Maybe it didn't. I don't know.
I think it fell after she screamed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and fucking. I do really like how the screams were treated in post. Like they're they're fucking ear piercing. Like usually I hate when jump scares are accompanied by loud noises, but I think the way it was done in here, where it's just like ear piercing, it fucking chilled me. It was like a chilling scream, and I really like that aspect of it. After the scene where he looks under the bed, like where you're just looking at darkness, and then there's just a figure, and then there's like a scream. Like you barely even see the figure. It's just like a distant, like fucking face in the wall or something. I couldn't even make out what it was. But I do like that it was like that. I do like that was restrained. It wasn't like fucking Five Nights at Freddy's or something where like it's coming straight through your fucking face.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things to where like, I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's, I feel like the point, I've never even played the game, but I assume the point is the jump scares. Like that is the sole scare factor. But I feel like, I mean, the reason I enjoy it so much here is because I feel like you could take away almost a lot of the jump scares and I would still find it creepy. I honestly would.
This is going to be embarrassing for me to admit, but I don't think either of you can like imagine how fucking scared I was while watching the movie. Like I was genuinely shaking with anxiety.
Yeah.
But fucking movies never fucking do that for me. Like there might be like a scene or something where it's just like, ooh, that fucking chilled me. But with it being like 100 minutes of just like me constantly being afraid. Like for one, before I get to my main point, one thing I fucking love about this film is it does a really good job in putting you into the perspective of a child. It almost kind of transport yourself back to like when you were younger, when you were feeling these feelings.
Yeah.
And I like that it does that. I like that the shots, I don't think they ever stray like higher than a child's height would be, if that makes sense. I don't think the camera's ever placed that high, so it's always either looking up, looking down, or looking
There's
straight
that one
ahead.
shot like looking down at the kid later on.
I suppose, but that could be like maybe the Skinamarink demon or something.
Yeah, but I like that. That's like the first kind of time you see one of the kids. And it's like, oh,
it's a little nice
that is
little
a creepy
refreshing
shot.
Yeah, it's a nice little.
But
I made that my banner on Letterboxd.
Oh yeah,
I saw that.
Dude.
I love the banner thing. Oh my god,
I love it too.
That should have been a mini topic. What the hell?
That should have been, but I know I love it too. It's pretty cool.
It's so fun.
But yeah, like that shit. It really does a really good job in helping you immerse you in the world, in the atmosphere. It's fucking amazing. But my main point was the fucking blood splatter at the end.
Oh my god.
That is probably one of the single scariest fucking frames I've ever seen in a horror movie. Like I nearly fucking cried with how scared I was. It was fucking, it terrified me.
Like maybe the last like 3 shots or whatever really kind of chilled me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the
But
shot
no,
of the blood splattering and it just fucking reversing and
Reverse
going.
and then
Like,
going
it
back. And
really
just the
fucking got to me.
But the screaming that accompanied it was also just really
Yeah.
off-putting, and then the weird music in the background, like it was very
The, like upside down house and the toys and stuff. Like, oh
Yeah.
my god,
Yeah.
that's a very cool shot.
And then oh my god, you got to talk about the
way
panning
fucking-
out, the endless hallway pan out.
Yeah,
It gives you
yeah,
this.
that.
I just this movie nails this like this feeling you can't even describe of existential dread, endless torment. Honestly, like if I could put it in any words, like it's like a fucking primal fear that I
They
have.
did a
I mean,
train spotting ending.
Yeah,
Oh. Fuck.
it does access those deep fucking primal fears
Yeah.
of fears of the dark, fears of the unknown.
Yeah.
It plays really well with those fucking aspects. And like the lack of music, like the only music being diegetic, I suppose, and it just coming off the cartoon on the TV. Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
another fucking thing I loved about it. The TV room is almost like a fucking save room in a horror game. Where it's just like, okay, we're
Yeah.
back here, we're fine.
Oh yeah, that's actually a good point.
And then when it starts to become infiltrated by Skinamarink, like when he starts like taking the toys and making them disappear, and then the TV starts fucking up, like playing that clip of the rabbit just fucking disappearing into thin air on loop.
Oh,
That's when shit is just like, oh fuck, there's
Yeah.
no escape.
there's no
escape in
safe.
the
You're not
Skinamarink
safe.
demon.
Nobody's safe.
This is totally a movie I could love on rewatch. I didn't really love it the first time or anything. Like I said, I fell asleep and I didn't find everything that interesting. But like as like an example, I'd probably, if I were to compare it to anything, it would be Sleep Has Her House, because that is like kind of the same sort of deal where like people would critique it for like, you know, just being shots of like walls and ceilings and shit. That's just shots of nature. Like you could look up a nature compilation on YouTube. They would compare it to that, you know? But like it's about how it evokes a certain emotion in a person.
Yeah.
This kind of movie I have a lot of respect for because of that. Because I feel like if I came back to it, I could totally just see it as a 10.
My personal feeling is that I don't think I ever want to watch this movie again because I not because of how scared I was. Well, mainly because it is kind of
Pussy.
because of that. Because I no. In the sense that I want to preserve that feeling that I
Yeah.
had the first time I watched it.
Right.
I'm fearful that a second watch might make me think less of it, and I just want to keep those feelings intact. Like whenever I think of Skinamarink, oh yeah, that movie fucked me up.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think I watched this last year, 2023, kind of when it released, early 2023, and then I rewatched it this time. I thought I was more scared my second time because there was actually a lot of scares that went over my head the first time for some reason. I don't know why. And it improved a lot, and I'm so glad I rewatched it. So like if you wait long enough, I feel like, then if you wait long enough, I wouldn't rewatch this like right away again, because I could always kind of pick out little things I obviously didn't notice my first time. I think my first time I watched it on my computer, and then my second time I watched it on the TV, and obviously that kind of changed things too. But I totally get what you mean. Like, I mean, if it affected you this much first time, I would be afraid too. Like, I don't want it to, you wouldn't want it to lessen.
I can see myself maybe returning to it in like maybe a decade or so, but it's given me all it can give me at this moment, I think, and I really appreciate it for what it has given me.
Yeah.
And I love being scared watching horror movies, and this is like the most a horror movie has affected me since the first time I watched Razorhead. So
Yeah.
that is like a huge fucking positive for me. Like it's just the best thing that I could probably say about it, because like Razorhead's my second fucking favorite movie.
No, that is
But yeah.
definitely high praise. I mean, and I guess the one moment that really, I mean, and this happened both my first and second time watching it, mainly my first time because I did not know what to expect at all. When you were talking about how like it's almost embarrassing talking about how scared I was when I experienced one of these moments, the ending with the
Yes.
face, my first time watching it, I literally couldn't look at the screen. I had to look away. I was like, I felt like a little bitch. I felt like a little child. The movie just starts like reducing you back to like, remember how you felt as a kid? Remember how scared you were of this stuff as a kid? And then by the end of it, I was like, I had like the fucking brain of a kid. I was like, how is a movie doing this to me? I thought I was numb to everything. This is so under my skin. So yeah, the final shot fucking fucks me up the most, honestly.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that the final shot because you're anticipating a jump scare. I feel like you're really anticipating a jump scare, and it doesn't give you one on the final shot, and I just love that. I feel like it didn't need one.
I also love the lack of credits at the end. I really like that it just ends.
Yeah. It just ends.
Like I know the credits are at the start, but like, you know, I think that's the ideal place to put them for this kind of movie.
Yeah.
And just make the rest of the movie just the movie, and just like let it run its course, and then it just ends.
Not to
But
mention,
yeah.
I mean, this kind of like I think it's also kind of meant to be almost a throwback to like earlier. I mean, it has that old movie aesthetic as well, to where they did used to place the credits at the beginning of the movie, everything down to like the font, and like I feel like this they almost try to replicate like an old school, like something you'd watch in a VHS, obviously. Yet again, it just kind of added to that authenticity of, I think, like the era that they were trying to capture, and it just fucking, really nailed it. I don't mean to be sucking this movie off so much, because like I literally could talk about it for fucking, I mean, no other horror movie has made me feel this way.
I was worried going into it that I wouldn't have much to say, but clearly I've had a lot of thoughts on it, and I have been thinking about it since I watched it. Like, people would call it maybe fucking very light on anything, but like it gave me a lot to chew on. It gave me a lot to think about, and I just really fucking adored the craft of it. And I appreciate that it doesn't really treat the viewer like an idiot. It just lets you make up your own mind of what's going on. I really like stuff like that.
I mean, because it's an incredibly like personal journey that you're going on, because like it really does come down to, I feel like the movie just gets deep inside of you and it'll bring out the feelings if you have them there, or it brings out whatever emotion, whatever it's trying to evoke. Like Liam said about Sleep Has Her House, it could affect somebody like one certain way, and another person who maybe had an entirely different background or view on things, it could not affect them at all. So I just love when like it's truly like there's no objective stance in this movie, because it is such a personal fucking journey that you're going on. It's such an experience for anybody. So that's the best thing I could say about it. I mean, because there's just not many movies like that places so much trust in the viewer, so much like, you know, like here's this, like see how you feel about it. You know, you could love it or hate it, and I would see both sides. So it's just refreshing to get a horror movie like that, I guess, because I feel like horror is, I don't know, it's just not often that you get truly immersive experiences like that.
No, it is very unique in that way.
And it's very rare that, I mean, two horror buffs like us can get something to fucking scare us.
I know, right?
We've seen it all.
Jeez. Here I am watching, like, literally, I'm watching a Serbian film in Human Centipede 2, and I'm seeing the most horrendous, depraved, ungodly stuff that I should never have seen.
This is our fucking extreme cinema.
And
this is our extreme cinema.
This is. No, it literally fucking is. Anyway, I could see the most horrible stuff, and yet this movie that would seem so tame to some people got so under my skin that it fucked me up bad.
It's a very interesting movie, and I didn't expect such a long discussion on it.
I know, same, because I was afraid it'd be super short. I'd be like, what do we even talk about? But man, I'm surprised how long I could actually go on about it. But yeah, I guess closing thoughts on that movie. The horror movie that has affected me the most. It's the horror movie. I can't name another horror movie that's affected me like this. I just can't. I can't even put it into words. My brain just can't. It affected me on such a deep fucking level. It became one of my favorite horror movies, one of my favorite movies, period. There's truly nothing else like it. Easy 10 out of 10 for me on my second watch.
I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 for now, but it's a preemptive 5 out of 10, and it could go up. It very well could go up.
And that's totally fair.
I want to stress that.
I mean, no, I totally get it.
I'm just very middle of the road right now, but I want to see how I feel in the future.
I'm with Quinn. I haven't fucking seen a horror movie that's affected me like this in quite some time. I really fucking loved it. Really, really fucking adored it. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Not a 10 because, like, that jump scare I talked about, that nearly took me out. That nearly fucking really took me out. So I have to dock it a full point because of that. But like, there is no other movie like Skinamarink. I really, really enjoyed my time watching it. I thought it was fantastic.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad that we could get all sorts of thoughts on these movies, because that was the point. There were two extremely divisive movies.
Good topic.
Let's get into listener questions. All right, from All Right So Reviews. He said, is Skinamarink too niche for audiences?
I mean, we were talking about, it's a hard one to get into.
Yeah.
It definitely falls under niche,
It does, yeah. I mean, because there's just truly nothing else like it, and I mean, it's just an incredibly unaccessible movie. Like, I mean, it's not a mainstream movie. I don't know how I would recommend this to somebody, honestly.
Your casual horror movie going audience is not going to like Skinamarink.
So yeah, it is pretty niche. From films_around the world, he asked, what is your least favorite horror film of the year so far?
Fuck, I don't know. I mean, I know you know yours.
Mine's easy. It's The Strangers Chapter 1. I've already talked enough about it on here.
Tarot. Definitely Tarot.
Oh yeah, that looked bad.
It was
That
bad.
looked pretty bad.
2 out of 10.
Yeah.
Don't watch it.
By definition, my least favorite horror movie of the year is Lisa Frankenstein, but I really love that movie. So
Well, yeah, I'm sure we'll get a worse
I thought that
one.
movie was great, but it is by definition my least favorite horror movie of the year so far. It's really good though. Go watch Lisa Frankenstein. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's good. You didn't experience some real shit like we did, I guess.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, I saw fucking Unfrosted. That's something else, but
Oh god,
That's
that's
almost
a horror
horrific in
movie
its
in
own-
its own right. That's
Yeah.
a horror movie in its own right, dude. That movie's terrible. And from movies that don't suck, he asked, "What's an experimental indie movie that everyone else loves but you hate?"
I don't know if it would be categorized as experimental, but for this, I'd probably say A Ghost Story. I really don't like A Ghost Story.
Oh, really?
I remember you
Yeah.
not liking that. Well, you
Wow.
liked elements of it. I think you just didn't like that one.
I liked elements of no. I
Scene.
there were elements I appreciated about it, but overall, it just left me feeling cold, and I really don't like it. I feel like a lot of people who have seen it do love it, and personally, I just don't get anything out of it. I would like to rewatch it at some point, but for now, I don't like A Ghost Story.
I saw the TV glow. That's experimental.
Oh.
I really don't like
guess
it.
so. I'll name one that my first time watching it, I really did not like it. And I feel like everybody praised it and shit. But believe it or not, yeah, my first time watching Eraserhead, I actually did not like it. And then thank
I
God
can
I
believe that.
rewatched it. Thank God I rewatched it because I mean, I love it now. It's 5 out of 5. But yeah, my first time watching it, I was like, this is like some pretentious fucking nonsense. I didn't know what I was watching. And then it just clicked my second time. But that's the only one I could think of. I don't know if, yet again, I don't know if this is experimental indie or whatever, but I'm thinking of ending things. I really don't like that. I do need to rewatch it though. From Anton _ Kino Love, your favorite movie, A Daddy's Holiday? What? What?
I think Father's
What?
Day was recently. Favorite movie to watch in Father's Day? I don't know. That's all I can
Oh.
gather from it. Ford v Ferrari.
Your favorite dad movie? Let's go with that. I'd say Rocky.
Yeah.
That's a great choice. That's a good one.
Crank.
Hell yeah. Oh, my name's Chip Chelios. I love Crank. I want to rewatch him again.
Crank's so good. I
Honestly,
need to watch
don't
the
know.
second.
Oh yeah, you still haven't.
No.
You piece of shit. It's really good.
I'd probably just go with Rocky as well, honestly. Rocky 2. Why not? I'll go with Rocky 2.
Rocky 2 is awesome.
It's different, yeah. I love both of those. But yeah, that was an interesting question. Thanks.
Thanks,
Anton Kino Love. But yeah, anyway, that was all the listener questions.
Next topic, I guess.
Next topic, we guess.
It's my one. I've told these boys I'm doing another themed one, essentially kind of like the Alien one, where we pick a movie that goes in with a certain theme, and I ask these guys to pick one. This theme this time is marriage or wedding movies because I'm getting married soon, so I thought I'd do that.
Yeah.
Now, to clarify, does it all have to be about a wedding, or can there be one scene with a wedding?
No, there can't be just one scene. It has to be like a decent plot point at least.
Damn, I was
Okay,
gonna do
okay.
Melancholia. Just kidding.
Oh my god.
Just kidding. That
Oh,
wouldn't
I
be the
thought
most.
you actually were gonna. Oh my god.
No, I honestly was wanting to do that, but I'm gonna. Nah, it's all right. I know that's too. I wanted an upbeat wedding movie, not like, oh, you're getting married, congrats. Here's a fucking depressing fall apart marriage movie
Yeah.
to watch.
I don't think you'll pick mine, but
Okay.
like I'm just deciding what I want to watch.
And look, this may seem like a fucking basic pick. I don't know. But this is a movie that I've only seen bits of, actually. I don't know why I marked it as I watched it on Letterboxd, but I shouldn't have, because I don't think I've seen the whole movie. And it's a very popular comedy, because a lot of these movies seem to be comedies, wedding movies. And I like a lot of the actors in the movie, and so I'm gonna do Wedding Crashers. I'm picking Wedding
Oh
Crashers.
Jesus! Okay. I've
It
never
looks like a
seen
nice little fun movie.
I
I've
haven't
only
seen it
bits
in
of
a while, but I remember
Okay.
liking it.
Fuck it, we're taking it back to the 40s, boys. We're going with the Philadelphia Story.
Oh boy.
Wait,
The Philadelphia Story. Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant, Jimmy Stewart. It's fucking amazing. I really, really love it.
Shit, for a second I
It's
thought
a-
you were talking about the movie with Tom Hanks where he has AIDS.
No,
I was
no,
like,
no,
oh
no,
no.
From 1940, directed by
Okay.
George Cukor. I think it's a really fantastic film.
Oh yeah,
And you can't go wrong with a bit of Jimmy Stewart. Fucking love Jimmy Stewart.
No, Jimmy Stewart's awesome.
All right, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down with that. Hell yeah. I need to check what year it's from. One moment.
1940.
Already very different movies. We got a old school black and white, and then we got fucking Wedding
Philadelphia Story is hilarious. It is
Oh.
really funny.
Crashers. Good.
Well, since we talked about another one of this director's movies kind of recently. I picked Rachel Getting Married from 2008 by Jonathan Demme.
That was my second pick. I'm glad I didn't fucking...
Hell yeah, man.
Rachel Getting Married. Oh, Jonathan Demme. I didn't know he did that.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So
yeah,
that's
Silence of the Lambs and Stop Making Sense.
If it was allowed to be one scene with the wedding, I was going to pick Spider-Man 2.
That could have been an episode. Spider-Man 2, Melancholia, and fucking... I don't know what else.
Are there any other movies where Kirsten Dunst's getting married?
Probably.
Oh, Jesus. I didn't even make the connection.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just unintentional Kirsten Dunst trilogy.
Well, we should sign her off.
Yeah. Yeah, you can find me at Views by Quinn on Instagram, Letterboxd. Check out the links below.
And you can find me at Movies Music Me on most things. Check the link tree in the bio.
And you can find me as Only Shallow on most things again. Letterboxd, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. It's all in the link tree. Go give it a look.
It's all there, guys.
It's all there.
You don't need me to tell you shit. It's all there.
And vote in the poll.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, vote in the poll.
Rate us on Spotify.
Watch Skinamarink.
That's true.
Watch Skinamarink.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. So, bye and peace out, bitches!
Ooh.
That was a big one.
That was a big
That was
one.
the loudest one in a while.
You got my fucking throat fucked up.